How happy were you with what you were able to accomplish on day one and kind of setting a tone?
Well, it met what I expected it to. I think anytime a new coach comes in, irregardless of having the time with the group last year, I think you do have their attention right off the bat. The jury will be out day 3, 4, 5 when it becomes work. Right now they're real excited, and they should be. I thought the effort was real good. The attention to detail was there. A little ragged with passing, but that happens. It's early in the season. And then the scrimmage was real competitive. So I think we got a lot out of the day, at least what we targeted. And we're going to work every day and build our game.
Have you always been a scrimmage guy? Have you always kind of wanted to get that right into it, right in camp? Or?
Well, maybe I'm selfish, but I'm thinking if I'm playing, and I got to go in and play against Chicago on Tuesday, I think it is, and I haven't scrimmaged or been involved in any type of full ice 5-on-5 action where there's some actual contact and some competitiveness, I don't think I'm ready to play that game. And we're also evaluating them on how they can play. And everybody here will at least get one scrimmage, as long as health allows it, and takes away any excuse. In exhibition game number 1, they played now. They played against real competitive players. They should be ready to go.
What was your message to the team?
Well, we met yesterday, and we talked about camp, how important it was for our group. I talked to them about the excitement around the team when I talked to players in the summer, and certainly hear through your avenues that everybody's happy to have a camp with the new coaching staff, and we'll see where it goes. That's all fine and dandy, but if we don't take advantage of it, then shame on us. And there are some areas of the game that we have to get better in, and we talked about that. And then there's what's between the ears sometimes. We have to get better in that area. Addressed it right away on day 1, and we're going to push them to improve.
And Riemsteig, is he?
Yeah, James will be with us. He has a family thing that he's dealing with. Full permission, we're full support of it, and it's probably a pretty good thing actually. So we're all happy for him.
Do you expect him up here, or?
I can't answer that question. I hope that he can be, but if he can't, we're going to give him a whole bunch of time with his wife and kids, and if he can get here, if everything's all set, and then he's anxious to get here, but he's got more important things right now to take care of.
What do you want to get out of these 3 or 4 days up here?
Well, I think there's 3 things that have to happen. First of all, the individuals have to find their game quickly. So individually, you have to feel good, you have to find your legs and your pace and your tempo and your skill set. And then secondly, they have to find that in a group environment. So we're also working on our systems and our structure. And I told them yesterday, they're as fit as they're going to be all year. They're as healthy as they're going to be all year. That part of the game I'm not too worried about. But they're as bad as they're going to be all year with game situations, game management, remembering how we do certain things because they've been playing summer hockey. And you hear us talk about summer habits, turning away from the puck, not stopping on loose stuff, trying stuff that really doesn't exist in our game. And there's nothing wrong with that in the summer, but it doesn't work now. So we want to make sure that happens, and then the team has to come together. Nobody knows, including Steve and I, who's going to be on the opening roster or not. That's why we have camp. But the group that's here, whether you're Carter Bear first time or I think Patty told me it was his 19th camp, Patty Kane. So come together. It's a great spot for it. We're promoting it. We want the guys to go out and golf and do the stuff after they put the work in. And come together as a team as quick as we can. So those 3 things we're trying to get out of 4 or 5 days on the road.
Were you able to watch much of the prospect games down in Dallas, and what stood out to you?
I did watch as much as I could. It was a few technical difficulties, but the players that we expected to lead played quite well. They did the things that they needed to do. And then the exposure to the brand new players to the organization and maybe to pro hockey was a real good experience for them. They followed it up with 3 days here, but it was a good event. We're moving on now. It gets harder and tougher, and it's where you gain some experience for the kids that will go back to junior.
Go ahead.
Speaking of your coaching staff, some new faces in the mix. What do they bring, and how has it been integrating them in so far?
Well, the staff has worked hard throughout the summer. This isn't the first time we've met and just discussed hockey. We're well prepared for camp. The new faces that have come in, one goalie coach in Michael Layton. It's his 19th training camp too. I just found that out. He's been at, I think it's 19. He's been at multiple. So it's nice to have that former goalie perspective on what it may feel like during training camp for us, and then he's working well with the staff. I know the goalies have appreciated him so far. Other than that, the additions were Schwabe moving up into a more elevated role, which we're really happy to promote him. And then Eric was in Grand Rapids last year, and just like players, Eric got called up. He's done a tremendous job of fitting in, and they've really prepared the staff well for camp.
What you saw at the end of last season, the last half really, what are the most important things for you guys to carry over to the start of this week?
Well, there's some carryover things, and then there's some repair things. The carryover things is I thought we played when we were playing well, we played on our toes, we were aggressive, we played with an attacking mentality, kind of the herd mentality. We were able to obviously score more and give up less. That's usually what happens when you're playing well. But there were segments where I thought we were defeated a little too easily and too quick. And there were segments where I thought our game management allowed that to happen. You just can't put the puck on the ice, play for 60 minutes and look up on the scoreboard and take what's there. Sometimes you got to win on with your B game. Sometimes you got to find ways to hold leads. Sometimes you have to come back. It's not always going to be rosy, and I think in those situations we can do a better job.
And the mental component that you talked about, how do you coach that? The resilience, the not being deflated?
Well, that comes from us. They're going to read off our body language and our demeanor. It comes from leadership. It comes from practice. We can put them in stressful situations and then push them. And if we see signs of them, rolling over, if that's the case, and I mean that professionally. They don't quit, but maybe letting up a little bit, we'll push them even more. There's going to be times in the game where they verbally got to get jolted because you could feel it coming, and we got to grow out of it. And it's not an easy thing to do, but we will.
You guys must have played John Gibson about 10, 20 times a year.
Oh,
I mean, what does it mean to get a guy like that on your roster?
Well, we're obviously excited about having him here. He wouldn't be here if we didn't think that. It's not a trade that we went out and had to make. We wanted to make that deal. And since he's been here, he's youthful. I knew John a little bit before, had him with the Team North America, 2016 I think it was, and he was youthful. But now he's put in a lot of years, but his attitude, his demeanor to the game and to practice and being around his team it feels youthful. So that tells me he's excited about being here. We're really happy to have all the goaltenders in the organization, but certainly him, he's the one that we're talking about.
Is it a tentative plan to play Van Riemsdyk with Dylan and Lucas?
We don't know that yet. I think that spot's going to be on. That's a tryout spot. I mentioned to Elmer today. If I'm coming to camp and the coach dropped me in there, I'm not giving that spot back one bit. So we'll give him a chance, and we'll work different people through there. Obviously, you're probably going to ask me about Marco next. Marco was really good in that spot, but he also was really good, with Kaner and Kat last year. So, we're 2 hours into camp, day one of camp, and I can't answer that question yet.
Well, speaking of that line, Casper and DeBrincat line played together down the stretch last season. Is that something you plan on maybe starting the season? And what was it that you liked about the three of their chemistry?
Well, I'll take the second part of that. I think Kat and Kaner have that instinctive, I know where you are, I know where to release the puck type relationship. They played together long enough, they think the same way. Shooter, passer, playmaker, or whatever you want to call each of them. Cass complemented both of them. They needed somebody to do some work in certain areas to defend down low, and he didn't. That's the word I'm looking for. He didn't succumb maybe to the pressure of playing with potentially two Hall of Famers when it's all said and done. I don't know, but he just played his own game, and that was impressive. Are we going to start with them opening night? It's similar to the answer to Helene's question. I can't tell you that yet. We've got 3.5 weeks to go, and we'll figure all that out when opening night rolls around.
And speaking of goaltending, obviously you know Cam Talbot from Edmonton and Los Angeles. Do you expect him to more kind of settle into a backup role, or do you expect him to try to maybe challenge for the starting role?
Oh, I don't know who our starter is. Obviously, Gibson's really important, but teams are proving year after year now that you need two guys to get the job done, and it's hard to stay on the top of your game over and over and over again if you're just a single entity. So we've got Talbot, we've got Gibby. We plan on playing them both, and we expect a lot from both of them.
Ted, how are you going to handle the 8 preseason games? I mean, do you have a set number for people, or you want to take a good look at the kids?
Well, it's interesting because I kind of took a straw poll of some of the veterans, what do you think you need to be ready to play? And they all said 4. Okay, well, that's half the exhibition schedule. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, next year we're only going to allow you to play 2, so are we not going to be ready? Everybody will get a chance. The first few games, it's going to be a little bit chaos. It always is. You don't have a lot of things in place, power play, penalty kill. There's 0 line matching at all. You just play, guys. You give everybody an opportunity to get their feet wet. And if you put the uniform on, you want to win. But it's more important that we get guys playing and start to evaluate. As camp settles in, you begin to think about lines and getting certain lines on the ice and have them prepared to play with each other. Special teams, perhaps. And then kind of around those last 2 games, you start to play your team plus or minus 3 or 4 guys that are still real close or injuries. And you get ready for opening night. So again, can I tell you who's playing on Tuesday against Chicago? I have a little bit of an idea, but I couldn't solidify it until we get through the red and white.
Between today and last weekend, the GR playoffs at the end of last year, what have you thought so far of Nate Danielson and MJS Lombardi?
Well, the playoff part is not very fair to really evaluate. First time seeing them, I think the game they were at, I don't even think they scored a goal. They lost 4-0 maybe or something like that. Or scored real late. They weren't real good that night as a team. I'm not talking about them individually, so I can't really go on that. I can go on opinions of people in the organization. I can watch development camp. I can see summer prep and now them here, and they're obviously both. They both move well on the ice. I think they've got great creative hockey minds. One's bigger than the other, but that doesn't, depends how well you use your size. They're both important prospects, and I'm anxious to see what they'll do in the games. And I'd love to see some of those young players play, make it, and contribute. Just making the team is one thing. Making and contributing and feeling confident, like Cass was at the end of the year, is what we're looking for.
I know players enjoy this beautiful area. Does the coaching staff, do you have any afternoon plans beyond hockey stuff?
Well, for me, and I know some of you were here from 05 to 08. I came in 2000, I think, was my first year with Minnesota. So I've been up here a long time. And then a significant break, so it's great to come back. Everything's a little older. The trees have grown a lot. I'm older, but it's still beautiful. I go in an unreal community, and the warmth you feel for the Red Wings here from the community isn't significant. But a little fishing, a little bit of golfing, sit by the fire at night and talk hockey, and get ready for the next day.
Do you remember anything specifically from those games with Babs as a staff? I mean, what you guys do, or anything stand out?
We did we did what everybody else does. We golfed. I remember salmon fishing real early one morning and catching a bunch. Hurrying to get back there. I think we were almost late. And we left the salmon behind with the guide. He cleaned it all up. We went back to a restaurant in the evening and ate fresh salmon. It was unique, yeah. So, but it's similar to everybody else. The golf and the environment, the food. That's the fun part of camp. All good?
Thanks.
Okay.